The final patch for Baldur's Gate 3 released about a month ago now. Patch 8 was arguably the largest of the 8 major patches that Larian released, mind you all for free. But with that release and Larian's ramping up of work on their new games and their stepping away from the Dungeons and Dragons universe, Patch 8 also marked a sort of bittersweet yet beautiful moment for the game. However, even with official major updates from Larian no longer in the question, the community has really been ramping up its development of mods, custom campaigns and the like, creating a game that could truly live up to being the next Skyrim. Today I just wanted to discuss some of these things and what's next for Baldur's Gate 3 after the release of the final patch, first starting with a brief discussion of the game's current state. Baldur's Gate 3 in its current state is, dare I say, an absolutely perfect game, with Patch 8 itself introducing 12 new subclasses into the game, with each class receiving an additional subclass in addition to crossplay support and a photo mode. Larian has really gone above and beyond what any other developer in this space would do. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the most creative, exceptional games ever made, but Larian's continuous updates and additions to the game added even more quality content into an experience already full of so much passion and wonder. The integration of an official in-game mod manager, mind you all for free unlike a certain game, as well as the continuous dedication of the incredible community surrounding the game has really brought this game into a league of its own. Its gameplay systems and environments in particular provide so much space for replayability and role-playing, with it just being so much to discover. I've played the game myself about 3 times now, and really every experience I've had with the game has felt so fresh and distinct from one another, purely due to the sheer diversity that this game has to offer. Elaborating a little on the official mod manager for the game, this has provided thousands of quality mods from subclasses to cosmetics to new weapons and gear for everyone playing either on console or PC to enjoy simply with the click of a button. Mods are such an important aspect in replayability for a game like this, especially with just small incremental changes such as having a new die set to use or a few new cosmetics, as they really make long strides in making each playthrough of the game feel greatly distinct. I'll discuss mods in a bit more detail in the next section of the video, but the community's passion and dedication to the game has constantly amazed me, even as I have covered many of these mods in detail on my channel. There's constantly new modders joining the scene and more veteran modders continuing to create and iterate upon mods, making the game's modding scene feel like it's always evolving, and this truly just marks the start of the game's modding scene and community. Quickly segueing to talking about the game's technical performance, I think it's really important to note the strides that have been made here. On launch, Baldur's Gate 3 had a myriad of problems in terms of technical performance, with many of these not felt until late into the game in Act 3. Even I saw a few of these problems when I played the game for the first time on console 6 months ago, but Larian has continuously added hotfixes, including in this patch, in an effort to remedy this, and it definitely has improved to a great degree since launch, as I have not really experienced any technical problems in my last playthrough in the slightest. Also, I think another major thing a lot of people have wondered in regards to the state of Baldur's Gate 3 is that given the major success of the game on all platforms, not to mention the insane critical accolades rightfully given to the game, any other developer would be fast to jump onto the bandwagon of a DLC or expansion of some sort. Knowing Larian, they would do this on a whole nother level to other developers, and whatever expansion or DLC they could come up with would possibly be just as extraordinary in quality as the base game. But Larian has drawn quite a distinctive line for a while now in regard to possible future DLC and expansions for Baldur's Gate 3. Although they did think about the prospects of such content, Larian has stated that as they had worked on the game for so long, and in these sorts of games with both Divinity Original Sin games, the team lacked creative enthusiasm in such a project, instead preferring to work on something new. Larian's CEO explained that creating DLC for Baldur's Gate 3 felt boring in comparison to what they could eventually create by embarking on new projects with a great emphasis of developer passion in their work. Honestly, this is a great and refreshing take on DLC for games, and although it would have been ultimately great to have some sort of expansion or DLC to add to the game's base content, Larian's decision is one focused on creating new projects, which I am just as equally as excited for. So as the game currently stands, Baldur's Gate 3 is an absolute masterpiece and a masterclass in the RPG genre of games. This is most evident in Larian's addition of tons of new content in patches, as well as a great modding community and a bunch of hotfixes that rectify technical performance, making Baldur's Gate 3 definitely in its best state ever. Now let's move on to some discussion of the game's mods and its general modding community, which have also made significant progress in creating custom campaigns for Baldur's Gate 3. Let's start with mods first. On top of the community's own dedication to the modding scene, Larian's integration of the modding toolkit and an official in-game mod manager and continuous updates of such has continuously opened up new possibilities for better and greater mods. In the final patch for the game, Patch 8, Larian made a significant update to their modding toolkit, now allowing it to support partial level editing, which has seen modders on a greater level being able to add or override certain elements within existing levels within the game. Again, this update and the countless others made by Larian in terms of modding has opened up great opportunities for the community to create continuously evolving mods that will go month to month in terms of intricacy and immersion. I've covered countless mods, from quality of life mods to replayability mods to cosmetic mods on my channel, but even with that, I've still barely scratched the surface of what the modding community for Baldur's Gate 3 has created and continues to create. Some mods, especially those introducing new combat additions like mistress spells or extra encounters and mini bosses, are honestly game changers in terms of the replayability factor of the game, making a game that is already so replayable into something else completely. With the endless possibilities for modding in Baldur's Gate 3 due to its intricate and complex gameplay systems and incredible environments, Baldur's Gate 3 really does serve as the perfect canvas for modders to consistently create and forge new mods every day, with these mods growing in complexity and impact as the community becomes more and more accustomed to the tools provided to them for modding. It's great to see the community working together across forums and various Discord servers, with modders with all types of levels of experience working with one another and sharing what they have learned to continuously level up the scene. I've mentioned in several videos on my channel that I honestly think in due time that the community of Baldur's Gate 3 will be able to reach the level of Skyrim in terms of the pure depth and quality of the mods being developed, and I'm very excited to see what the future of the modding scene holds. However, to be honest, although there have been so many great mods already released, the game's modding scene is truly still in its infancy, and it is still to be seen to what levels the modding community will be able to reach as they constantly learn and iterate upon their craft. But what I think shows the most promise and significant progress of the modding community for Baldur's Gate 3 is the custom campaigns being developed. Again, I've covered many of these custom campaigns and their progress in their early stages, mainly in a bid to bring attention to the hard work and effort being put in by these developers, and hopefully to see more people to continue to support them. As of right now, I don't think any of these custom campaigns, which are all mainly in their early stages mind you, have been added to the official mod manager for the game, and I think that may stay the course due to several factors such as copyright with some of these campaigns. However, if you're playing the game on PC, you can experience all of these different custom campaigns quite easily, and from the few that I've been able to test out in their early stages, they all show promise and highlight something much greater coming to the game in the future. Just to mention some of these campaigns, one that I've covered multiple times on my channel is the incredible custom campaign titled Path to Menzoberranzan. This custom campaign is an ambitious sort of expansion being made for Baldur's Gate 3 by a large team of volunteers, and I'll link the YouTube channel of the campaign's creator in the description, so please do support them. This campaign is set over a century after the events of Baldur's Gate 2 and is aiming to deliver a rich and fully voice acted adventure in iconic and reimagined environments from Baldur's Gate 2. The voice acting part is something I've brought constant attention to when I have covered the mod, as the pure possibilities and opportunities this could open up for the game is akin to what Skyrim has with its various expansion size mods. This campaign similarly is working to add new quests, characters, faction storylines, and so much more to the game, and it's all being passionately worked on by a great number of writers, developers, and voice actors. If you yourself have any interest in helping out with this campaign, please do go to the channel in the description to find out more. But anyway, continuing on, custom campaigns like this and many more such as the Forsaken and Grand Theater campaigns show so much potential with the game's modding possibilities. And although many of them are still in their early stages of development, there's still a lot to be excited for here. If you're interested in learning a bit more about any of these specific custom campaigns, you're welcome to check out some of the various videos I have made covering all types of these campaigns and the progress that has been made. I think it's evident that the future of Baldur's Gate 3 really rests in the potential and continuous dedication of the game's fantastic modding community. The countless mods already released for the game, in addition to custom campaigns that are being developed with entire teams, holds a lot of potential for the future of Baldur's Gate 3. Again, much like Skyrim, this paints a promising picture of a game that will truly be endless in scope and replayability. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to discuss in regard to what is next for Baldur's Gate 3. Looking forward, the game's future does look very bright, and I'm super excited to see what mods, campaigns, and other projects the modding community will be able to create in order to further enhance a game that is already so incredible in every way. Larian has truly pulled off a masterclass in RPGs and just gaming in general, and I'm just as excited to see what they cook up in the future. Anyway, that's all from me for today's video. If you enjoyed, please consider subbing to the channel for more Baldur's Gate 3 and RPG content, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.